The NRA has endorsed Donald Trump. The powerful gun lobby, the National Rifle Association in the U.S., will lend its support to the presumptive Republican nominee. At the rally, Trump leveled an attack against Hillary Clinton, saying that she was heartless for backing restrictions on gun ownership, since it would leave people in dangerous areas unable to defend themselves. All right, now let's bring in Ian Reifowitz, professor at the Empire State College within the State University of New York. You're author of Obama's America. Today, the NRA backs Donald Trump, and that might seem logical to an outside observer, given that, they're very unlikely to back a Democratic candidate. However, the NRA and Trump have not always been on the same wavelength.
No, that's true. Mr. Trump has evolved in his position on the Second Amendment over the years. He wrote a book about 15 years ago where he tried to claim a middle ground. He talked about being in favor of an assault weapons ban. That was the law in the United States at that time. And he rejected what he called, the extreme approaches of the NRA on the one hand, where they were against any kind of regulation, and then rejecting the opposing position of wanting to, as he put it, ban most guns. He sought a middle ground then, but there is no middle ground on the Second Amendment in the Republican Party. If you're going to be the Republican Party's nominee, you have to toe the line of the NRA. Donald Trump understands that, and he was rewarded for that shift in his position today with the endorsement of the NRA, without which he could not have any hope of competing for the presidency.
Ian, I'd like your thoughts on the latest polls that show the gap is narrowing between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Looking forward to the general election later this year. There used to be a 10 percentage point gap between the two, and now it's closer to 5-6%. What's your take on that?
Well, first of all, when we look at polls, there are a number of things to understand. One is you never want to take any one poll too seriously. The way to look at polls is to look at the average of polls, and there are a number of sources that aggregate and take averages of polling. But there's no question that in the last week to 10 days, Donald Trump has moved much closer to Hillary Clinton than he was before. The main reason for that is that he won the Republican nomination. His rivals dropped out. He got his nomination bounce. Now, in order to understand what the long-term effect of this is, you can look back at 2008, which I did before coming on today. If you look at the trajectory of the polling in 2008, Barack Obama led John McCain, the ultimate Republican nominee, throughout the campaign with two small exceptions. There were a couple of weeks in early to mid-March, heading into late April, right after John McCain secured the Republican nomination and his rivals dropped out. That was a period where he was ahead of Barack Obama in the polling. Then, by April, Barack Obama resumed his lead, and in June, when Hillary Clinton dropped out and endorsed him, Obama widened his lead and never looked back. The only other time that McCain led was a couple of days after he got the Republican nomination officially, just after Labor Day, so he got another bounce.
So what are you saying, that this is just a blip?
Well, we won't know that. We won't know that for a few more weeks, but we will know that when we see what happens when Hillary Clinton wraps up the nomination. 1 month from now, one of two things will happen. Either Bernie Sanders will essentially come home and endorse Hillary Clinton strongly and bring most or all of his supporters with him, and that seems like it would be the most likely occurrence, or he won't. That will have a big effect on what kind of bounce Hillary Clinton will have. My suspicion is that after the nomination is over, she will get the bounce back and Trump's bounce will fade, and the race will look more like it did when both were on an even footing as it was throughout most of 2016.
All right, Ian Reifowitz, thank you very much for updating us, giving us your insights into the presidential race. Thanks a lot.